Kamala Harris is brain caught. They said they haven't seen Kamala since last week, and you know what? It is quite evident in a new video that has now made its rounds. The former vice president is seen recently talking about her strategy that helped her on the campaign trail. So apparently she's giving out advice. Yeah, as if things worked out for her. More breaking news from President Trump as he defends 50-year mortgages. We'll also talk about the backlash, why the White House is furious about this idea that has now set the internet on fire. So without wasting any more time, welcome back to the Adam C. Moreno Show. Please like, subscribe, and let's unpack this. Starting with the hottest news, or at least what's funniest, Kamala was just on a podcast sitting down, confidently talking about how she was playing 3D chess during her campaign against President Trump. Look at this.
Was aware of my opponent's strategies, and I wasn't about to fall prey or fall into those traps. And part of his strategy and those around him was to try and take me off our game and message. And I wasn't about to be distracted by those flames that he was trying to throw to get me away from my highest priority, which was talking to people about the economy and their well-being in terms of their financial well-being. And so I understood the game that was being played, and I made a decision that I wasn't going to get played. And
chess, not checkers. Got it.
Chess, not checkers.
Yeah, three-dimensional chess, I'm telling you, you know.
Kamala Harris decided that she wasn't going to play the game, right? But she got played, and nonetheless, we're talking about every single swing state that decided to vote for President Trump. It is wild. And you know what's more wild? This is a 1-minute clip of Kamala Harris talking, but it feels like such a stretch of a nightmare. It's like, I need to watch this in 2x to actually be able to understand what she is saying. It is so weird. But I do hope that Kamala Harris realizes one day that her biggest disadvantage during this election was that no amount of messaging could erase the Biden era. It also didn't help that she was not a strong communicator. But people have nonetheless poked fun of Kamala Harris here. One person writes how Kamala plays chess, and it is a video that is obviously AI generated showing Kamala Harris just drinking endlessly, right? Which is hilarious, poking fun at her slurring and her inability to speak cohesively. Another person shared their favorite video of Kamala Harris, unable to put a sentence together. Look at this.
And you were ready. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was prepped, but not really.
Right. Unhinged. Okay.
It's never going to be easy to watch videos like this. It's wild. I don't like being mean to Kamala Harris, but now on the other side of the internet, people are still talking about this idea that was recently proposed by President Trump on Truth Social regarding the 50-year mortgage proposed by Bill Pulte. And here is President Trump defending that idea last night on Fox News with Laura Ingraham. Check it out.
Housing costs are still out of reach. And another thing that your administration is trying to tackle, many Americans, the average age of first-time home buyers are now up to age 40, which is sad. The country you and I grew up in.
I inherited that. Look, you have to understand.
Right, but let me get to the question, though, because your housing director has proposed something that has enraged your MAGA friends, which is this 50-year mortgage idea. So a significant MAGA backlash, calling it a giveaway to the banks and simply prolonging the time it would take for Americans to own a home outright. Is that really a good idea?
It's not even a big deal. I mean, you know, you go from 40 to 50 years. And what it means is you pay something less from 30. That some people had a 40, and then now they have a 50. All it means is you pay less per month. You pay it over a longer period of time. It's not like a big factor. It might help a little bit. But the problem was that Biden did this. He increased the interest rates, and I have a lousy Fed person who's going to be gone in a few months.
President Trump says it's not a big deal, but people everywhere across the political spectrum seemingly disagree with this surprising move. Even the White House is furious with Bill here because look at this bombshell report by Politico. All right, the title is Sold POTUS a Bill of Goods, White House Furious. Look at that. The article says that Bill Pulte showed up to President Trump's golf club with the photo blown up comparing FDR to President Trump and their mortgages, calling them both the great American presidents. And then within 10 minutes, 10 minutes, President Trump posts this straight to Truth Social. And just like that, snap of a finger, the rest is history. Suddenly, his aides are getting bombarded with calls from allies saying that this idea is terrible, it's bad policy, it's bad politics, and that it will actually raise housing costs long term. And it is just insane. So, where's the lie? You know what? You tell me, because even longtime supporters are speaking out about this. Van Hernandez says, I'm tired of based social media videos and a big talk from the admin with zero follow through. We voted for home affordability and we were given 50-year mortgages and debt slavery. We voted for mass deportations and we can't even get Kilmar Brego Garcia out of the country. We have a sitting U.S. Congresswoman who openly declares her loyalty to Somalia, and the best we can do is joke about deporting her. And, it is also worth mentioning that, like, none of this is coming from the left. This is from the right, although the left has plenty of their own critiques. Kingman Lee also says, I don't regret voting for Trump because Kamala was infinitely worse on all accounts. But, man, this is disappointing. I wanted to share this one because we can still be fully confident in our vote for the president while also being constructive of him a year later. Like, this is okay. Blind support doesn't necessarily help anyone. Really, we should be holding everyone to the highest standard. And speaking of accountability, Amy Nixon chimed in saying what a lot of young people are feeling right now. We don't want 50-year mortgages. We simply want what our parents had, a housing market that makes sense, where we only compete with other families, not Airbnb operations or wealthy people's fifth homes, not LLCs or not foreign buyers. Again, I don't think any of these are some scorching hot takes. I feel like these are just very simple, common sense takes here. And I saw this recently. I think I reposted it on my Instagram, but I just thought it was so hilarious and true. Someone said one of the hardest parts about watching Home Alone, especially because, it's Christmas season, winter season, they say one of the hardest parts about watching Home Alone as I get older is knowing that Kevin's parents probably bought this house for like $175,000. And this is just like a massive house. It is just beautiful. Like, look at that. And yes, this house is now worth millions and millions of dollars. It's funny, it's hilarious, but the reason it matters so much is actually put very nicely by Benny Johnson, one of the loudest voices in the conservative news space, sounds alarm in this scroll-stopping post saying, this is the generational destruction of the American dream. A home, a family, a purpose, a life, ownership. This is the battle. It all comes down to this. And look at this chart. This chart says it all. The collapse of the American dream. In the 1950s, most 30-year-olds were married homeowners. Today, that number is barely hanging on. Look at this. This is the future that young people are fighting for. And I don't believe it's too late, but geez, we got to fight like hell to correct this. In a previous episode, I was talking about some solutions and how none of them are easy. They're all incredibly complex. But here's one possible solution proposed by Vivek Ramaswamy. He says, lower home ownership costs by slashing property taxes, lower electric bills by producing more energy, lower house prices by building more housing, lower inflation by cutting excessive government spending. This is how we make the American dream affordable, and Ohio will lead the way. I like practical solutions like this. I feel like we need more practical things within our government, less memes. I think this makes sense. And, Vivek right now and Benny Johnson, they were just talking about the American dream. And part of the reason why I'm a little bit uncomfortable with that is because I just think the American dream that so many people grew up believing in, the American dream that is in the hearts and minds of so many people, it's unfortunately starting to feel just like that. A dream. And I really hope I'm wrong, but I'm just telling you guys how it feels as a young person. We're looking at the economy, we're looking at the housing market. It is just wild. So I really do hope that something happens, whether it's increasing property taxes on empty homes, building more homes, publicly shaming Airbnb for their abuse of the single family homes all across the country. I really do not know. But I can't think of a more prominent issue that weighs on the minds of young people. So anyways, that is the video from Kamala Harris out here just acting a little cuckoo, talking about three-dimensional chess, hilariously, to President Trump defending the 50-year mortgage. I'd love to know what you all think about this in the comments. And hey, if you made it this far, please like, subscribe, turn on the bell, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Episode's over already? Geez, that was fast. Well, they say beautiful things do not last forever, but feel free to watch and listen to another one of these episodes if you're interested in those conversations as well. Also, this next part is huge. Make sure to obliterate that like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never skip a beat. I also have a newsletter where we dive into the news, politics, and ideas that shape our future. If you're interested in signing up, I'd really appreciate that. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time.